Sounds like a silly idea, right? Why would you want to yawn on demand? Well, it's because it gives you the ability to experience which a lot of meditation practitioners would get for metaphor. They are trying to find a moment silent in your mind, where the mind is not being like a monkey jumping everywhere. The monkey mind, you probably expression. What does the mind do when it's not doing? Literally feel the spaciousness and can experience freedom from constant bombardment, information that we have to digest, judgment that we have to handle. How do meditators get into that state? With great difficulty. I'm a Tibetan Lama. I've been around for most of my life. I've interviewed a lot of them on my talk show, The Secrets of Qigong Masters, in 2009. I know a lot of people who meditate. And in private conversations, many of them admit that even when they meditate, they experience daydream. If it happens to the best of them, what can I expect of the rest? In other words, when we go into meditation practice, we don't immediately drop into meditation state because it's not, it's not easy to just shut the monkey mind off. If it was easy, everyone would be successful at meditating, right? Most people, even when they spend an hour meditating, don't spend an hour in meditative state. They spend an hour trying to get into meditative state, and they're lucky if they actually got it by the end of the hour. It's time to get off the cushion. So it basically is not a task, except there is a reset button in our mind. This reset button allows us to stop the workings of the mind for a moment, like pushing a reset button on the computer, reboot the system. How do we do that? If we knew how to reboot our monkey mind, how to restart our operating system, that create a miraculous transformation probably. Absolutely. Well, how a lot easier than most people think. Usually notice that when you yawn, for a moment your mind can think. There is the moment of silence in your consciousness when you yawn. Maybe just a split second, if it's not something you train for. But practice, it can expand to a much longer period of time, several seconds, several minutes, even longer. I can literally shut off my mind on demand and stop thinking. Sounds like a preposterous idea, right? Who can do that? Well, I can. It's my superpower. I'm happy to achieve it. Actually, through yawning, literally inducing the yawn so that you experience that moment of freedom from thinking. In the midst of a yawn, your mind experiences reset. No worries, you will start thinking again. But then you can catch yourself daydreaming because whatever we think about, either something that happened in the past, which by definition is a daydream, or that hasn't happened yet. So we're thinking of something that may happen in the future. Well, that's a daydream by definition. There is very little chance to think about the present moment because the present moment is so fleeting. The moment you start thinking about it, you're already thinking about the recent past. Just a few seconds in the past, it's already a daydream. And that means it's really hard to actually not daydream whenever. Even if you're thinking about something that's happening elsewhere, that's a daydream. Or maybe you're thinking, what is he thinking about me? Form of mind reading is a form of a daydream. And of course, many people experience daydreams that are not particularly pleasant. For example, how many people suffer from worries or concern? Well, those are perfect examples of daydreams because they are not true. And Unfortunately, many of those daydreams about future turn more into a nightmare of a daydream. Why? Because when a person thinks about future, they often think about the version of the scenario that they don't want to experience. They don't resonate with that. They don't want it to happen, but they're thinking about it. The definition of worry, right? In other words, worrying, being anxious or concerned about things are just different degrees of a nightmare of a daydream that we create our own consciousness. If we had a handle on it, would we be doing it to ourselves? Probably not. And if we can transform that, would we want to do that? Or exactly, not just a technique, it's a lifestyle understanding the nature of our consciousness. Most of our thoughts were daydreams. Those daydreams are made of energy. This energy is something that sometimes we resonate more, sometimes we resonate less with. Different degrees of energy resonance with the content of our daydream determines how much we suffer from having those daydreams. And if we want to suffer more, we know how to do it. Just focus on something that you really hate, get stand, you're guaranteed to experience free of suffering. And if you want to free of suffering or decrease the suffering to a significant degree, what you need to do? Refocus the attention, or like we studied orientation, reorient yourself towards something that you resonate more with, so that you will experience greater resonance. Energy flows more easily in that direction, and you can experience the flow and enjoy the flow in your mind. When you are in your mind, the flow, that's what we call inner peace. We'll do that, right? If you want inner peace, let's learn how to create this awareness of energy in our daydream. We're gonna do some lucid daydream. It's kind of like being lucid in the night dream. Some people have an ability to be lucid dreams at night, become awake, dream-like nature experience. When you become awake in a dream-like nature, I dream. One of the obvious things is to realize that everything is energy. What else is got to made of? Energy of consciousness. And if everything is energy, then you can apply energy awareness to develop discernment of different aspects of the dream. And when you have discernment in the dream, then you are at cause of how much you turn into a nightmare. If you focus on things that you don't resonate with in that dream, single-handedly turn into a nightmare for yourself, or you can actually enjoy a different degree of more pleasant, more joyful experience. It's up to you. You have freedom of choice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm inviting you to experiment, develop the sense of aging. And how do we do that? Well, it starts with lucid awakening to the dreamlike nature of our experience. To experience this awakening, we're gonna do a yawn, which will serve as the reset button in our mind. When we are busy thinking about all kinds of things in our mind, it's hard to catch ourselves, tell ourselves dreaming. But if you interrupt the dreaming process, push the reset button, then naturally it will come back. Nobody ever complained that they could not start daydreaming again after resetting the mind. But then you can catch yourself at the onset and in the air to realize, okay, I'm breathing right now. But the nature of a dream is the same, whether it's a daydream or not. And what we do is simply tell ourselves that we're dreaming. That just like mindfulness meditation, especially the Shambhala tradition I'm personally not familiar with. I also studied various meditation. Most teachers just give yourself a reminder, think, thinking. So what I'm suggesting is just one step removed, but it makes all the difference in the world. If you're thinking, you say it to yourself, dream, which allows you to become lucid. That's the definition of realizing you're dreaming. That is what we're going to do. We are going to start by interrupting the operating system or pushing a reset button, so to speak, by yawning. How do you yawn on demand? It's actually quite. Bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Keep your mouth slightly open, but breathe through the nose. A little paradox. Keep your mouth slightly open, but breathe through the nose, and just wait till the yawn starts happening. For me, it happens almost instantly. That's right. Yeah, it's so easy to induce yawn. And now we want to catch ourselves in that beginning of new dream starts after we reset the button. Let's do it again. Bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Now we know yawning works. And we are going to focus on our mind. Noticing when it shuts and when it comes back online, we remind ourselves. Wait. A very breathing practice. No particular protocol to follow, certain states of breathing. I start watering, which is entering an open state. Great. That's the altered state of meditation. Many meditators spend hours upon hours trying to get in it. And you literally step into it. This is amazing shortcut to meditative state of consciousness. But then we don't want to prevent dreams from happening. We actually let them happen. Naturally, spontaneously allow the dreams to rise to the surface of consciousness. But we want to notice when the dream rises to the surface of our consciousness, and we simply recognize it as such. It's a dream. I'm dreaming right